It all started on a regular morning. I was standing on the porch, coffee in hand, slippers on, when I saw an HOA officer pull out a taser and fire it at my wife. Yes, my actual wife. What they didn't know was that she's ex-Special Forces, and her old team was already positioned with laser sights trained on the officer's chest. Lena had seen it all coming. She just let it play out because she doesn't flinch at power-tripping HOA mall cops who think they're tactical geniuses. Me? I flinched hard. One moment we were arguing about whether we had enough charcoal for the weekend barbecue, and the next she was lying flat on the driveway, a guy in a fake sheriff vest screaming into a walkie-talkie like he was breaching. A war zone. We'd moved into Greenbrier Estates about 6 months earlier. The flyer promised peace, security, family values. What it meant was a neighborhood ruled by a militant HOA with delusions of authority. All the homes looked alike. The lawns were trimmed like military buzz cuts, and heaven help you if you brought out your trash bins even a minute too early. Lena thought it was hilarious. The HOA rulebook was thicker than her old deployment handbook, but she went along with it, for the quiet life, the good schools, and the promise of no late-night EDM blaring next door. Our first issue was her matte black military Jeep. She parked it slightly over the driveway line, barely touching the grass. The next morning, we got a violation notice that looked like it came from NORAD. I laughed. She didn't. She scanned it and quietly filed it into a folder labeled Greenbrier Absurdities. The HOA president, Karenette, yes, that's her real name, ran things like a pastel dictator. Clipboard in hand, sweaters in rotation, and a permanent scowl for Lena. Said Lena gave off aggressive energy and masculine intimidation. Lena just smiled, said, "Cool story," and returned to tuning her Jeep's suspension. That got us weekly inspections and multiple citations for combat, vehicle disruption. The real madness began when the HOA formed the Greenbrier Civil Enforcement Division. It was 5 guys who looked like rejected mall security guards, dressed in camo pants and black polos with fake badges that read Code Enforcer and Safety Lead. They carried giant flashlights, clipboards, and pepper spray. I once saw one doing baton drills in the cul-de-sac like he was rehearsing for a SWAT audition. Lena observed them with the calm interest of someone who had once negotiated with a cartel leader using only a translator and a wristwatch. She started taking longer walks. She asked quiet questions. She ran cables through the attic. When I asked what she was doing, she said, "Just watching. They're not ready yet." I didn't press. When Lena's watching, you let her watch. Meanwhile, these pretend cops got bolder. They installed cameras on stop signs. They fined kids for sidewalk chalk. They cited an elderly woman for rebellious garden gnomes. One gnome had its middle finger up. They treated it like a hate crime. Then I caught one of them peeking into our window. Lena didn't scream. She asked if he wanted to test his pepper spray against someone who'd been tear-gassed 3 times before breakfast. He left quickly. We hosted a 4th of July cookout. Burgers, beers, neighborhood therapy. Lena parked the Jeep right by the HOA sign. Like clockwork, the civil enforcement guys showed up, tactical vests and citation books in hand. One had a body cam, narrating like he was storming a compound. Lena stood silently by the Jeep. They issued a warning. She said, "You're welcome to try." Then one pulled out a taser and fired. Lena dropped. I froze. Red laser dots lit up, across their bodies. Her team had them targeted, from hedges, rooftops, the alley. The taser officer stopped smiling. Lena opened one eye and said, "I always wondered what it would feel like to get stunned by an amateur." She'd been documenting everything. The HOA wasn't backing off. They introduced new rules against military vehicles and aggressive displays, clearly aimed at her Jeep. They renamed their group the Neighborhood Stabilization Task Force. Lena laughed and added the notice to her now tabbed binder. Violations, false citations, privacy invasions, and my favorite, non-compliant wind chime frequency. She didn't confront them. She took longer jogs. She scouted, received footage and stories from neighbors. Turns out everyone had been bullied. Improper tarp tension, reflective dog collars, you name it. They sent Lena footage and her war room grew. Her team helped quietly. No weapons, just eyes and awareness. Cameras got installed, legally, public areas only. The HOA's thugs escalated. Random visits, tape measuring lawns, drones over backyards. Want to hear how it ends? Lena kept recording, quietly building her case. Karenette strutted around like royalty, but the neighborhood was boiling. Then came the sidewalk chalk. Kids had drawn rainbows and unicorns. Cornette issued $100 fines to their families. The next HOA meeting was packed. Angry parents shouted, refusing to be silenced. Lena sat quietly in the back, her folder in hand. The next morning, we got another Jeep citation. Presence of warlike aesthetic. Lena smiled and said, "It's time." That evening at another barbecue, she parked the Jeep directly under the HOA sign, flag in the windshield. The same officer showed up. One read aloud a warning. Lena responded, "Which part, the freedom or the horsepower?" Sunglasses guy, the lead, pulled his taser again. She stood in front of the Jeep and said, "You'll have to go through me." He fired. Lena dropped again, but this time it was planned. Red laser dots appeared. Her old team emerged, calm and professional. Lena rolled over and said, "You need to recalibrate your aim." She stood, pulled the wires off, and was handed a folder. She announced to the neighborhood, "Everything is documented. Body cams, drones, witnesses. It's all submitted." A man in a suit stepped forward. "Agent Walker, DOJ Office of Civil Enforcement. We've been monitoring Greenbrier since February. Today confirms enough to proceed." The taser cop was arrested. Another tried to object. He was reminded that impersonating law enforcement is a felony. Then Karenette arrived, flanked by board members. Agent Walker said, "You authorized the task force. You're responsible for their actions." She scoffed, claimed it was private. Walker replied, "Your charter expired 16 months ago. You've collected $100,000 in illegal fines. That's not private. That's federal." She went pale. Lena handed over more documents, emails, notes, proof of fraud and overreach. "You're under investigation for fraud, harassment, and potential RICO violations," Walker said. Karenette was taken away. No pastel cardigan could soften that blow. By nightfall, everything was quiet. Neighbors talked in hushed tones. Jim, the guy across the street, teared up and thanked Lena. He thought he'd have to sell his Mustang to pay HOA fines. Now, the HOA was finished. A week later, Greenbrier's HOA was dissolved, fines nullified, the task force disbanded. Lena deleted her files and resumed jogging like nothing had happened. At the next emergency meeting, someone nominated her for HOA president. She accepted with a shrug. Her first act, shred the rule book. Her second, ban citations, fines, and patrols in vests. "The community will run on respect, transparency, and trust," she said. As we left, she looked back at the crowd and added, "Oh, and if anyone sees a clipboard labeled Civil Enforcement Division, toss it in the nearest fire pit." The laughter that followed was genuine. Lena wasn't just my wife. She was a calm storm, the patient undoing of tyranny. When push came to tase her, she didn't push back. She dismantled the whole system. Moral of the story: power abused invites its own undoing. True strength doesn't show off. It watches, waits, and acts with precision. Respect, not fear, is the foundation of real leadership. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with family and friends. Thank you.